Flyover State of Film was shot in front of a live studio audience.
Hello and welcome back to Flyover State of Film. I'm your host this week.
What's low energy? It was very weird.
The low energy.
Hello. Hi.
To fem. Oh.
Hi, sister.
Hello.
Ladies, we are doing it again.
We're back.
Welcome back to my seat. The Flybois are here.
It's Men on Film. Oh wait, wrong show.
Oh man. Speaking of tangent, Men on Film does not hold up great. Pretty offensive. I'm not gonna lie.
No, most of it.
I don't think that's a hot take, but I remember like getting those DVDs and being so excited. Hadn't seen it when I was a kid. Grew up on The Living Color. Loved that shit. Went back to it. Was like, yeah. Oh my.
Yeah, I would say most of those skits are pretty.
I mean, I don't know. Some of them are kind of, because they're from a perspective.
The ones I like are rough.
Yeah, but there are definitely some. Handyman, another one, did not hold up great.
My man got two jobs, not a.
No, the Jamaican family.
Yeah, great sketch series, but I was just talking about anyway.
I look Flyover State of Film where we spend the first 5 or 6 minutes just talking about 90s sketch comedy shows.
Be in the middle of an episode.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay,
whatever.
We're just right now. We're just like fucking Chris.
We're off the rails already, and nobody cares.
Right now, we're just like the Chris Farley SNL. But like, oh, you guys remember when? Like, that's all we're doing, right? Remember when that was cool.
That's fine. The world needs nostalgia. The world needs things that they're familiar with to come back. Even if, say, it had a send-off that felt very final and a very, like, respectful way and, like, dignified and maybe, like, brought to close a long-running series and a guy who would, like, really, like, defined a character. But who cares, right? Who gives a fuck? Let's bring it back for a joke or two. Let's say, ooh, my balls. Oh, no. Anyway, Deadpool.
Even if the actor was like so close to liver failure from all the steroids that he did for the last few movies, like it's just fuck it.
This is not my joke, but I saw a tweet that was like Hugh Jackman looking at a giant plate of HGH, like one more ride.
The man just wants to sing and dance, and the world's like, no, we want you to be Wolverine.
No, go eat some horse meat, motherfucker.
Get like freakishly ripped. Get that kind of rip that makes it look like your skin's gonna pop open.
We know that there's gotta be some. It's fucking like I get what they're doing, and it makes 100% sense that they would add Hugh Jackman into the promotion for adding Deadpool into the MCU. Which at first everyone was like, "What? Deadpool?" Now it's like, okay, but it cannot be like a full-on role. They're already. You know how everyone knows how the MCU works.
It's going to be a cameo.
Yeah. Like, it's got to be something that...
I don't think it's going to be a cameo, but it'll be a thing where he comes in like, the last act. He's not going to be the whole movie. It'll be like that. But, like, I think...
And how much do we do the time-traveling shit through universe?
I think it's going to be, like, Deadpool traveling through...
2 years in advance.
I think
don't do that.
I think it's going to be Deadpool traveling through just, like, other movies...
Like Spider-Verse type stuff?
Yeah, like Spider-Verse type.
This is my thing that they already did the the multiverse thing will be 2 years old. Like, this year has been all about the multiverse. This little era of MCU shit has been
It's going great, man. They've been hitting it
I'm
out of the
so
park.
But in
interested.
2 years, like, so Deadpool's gonna wait and come out 2 years, and we're gonna go back to that now, or and stuff. It's just like, I don't know. And with Hugh Jackman coming back, it just doesn't seem like a surprise at all. It feels very perfunctory to me. It's like once they got Toby and Andrew Garfield back, anything is possible if the actor is willing and then we'll set the paycheck. There's nothing off the table.
But it's like then and oh God, now I get into like nerve. I'm like, are we getting Dak in? Are we gonna get like a whole like a Son of Wolverine shit? Or
I don't know, man. It's gonna be regular, boring old Wolverine. It'll be like the multiverse Wolverine who hasn't become Logan yet.
He's gonna acknowledge he's Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I just
because he doesn't
I
say
watch it and it'll probably be fine, which is kind of like what Deadpool 2 was. It was like, whatevs, fine. And it'll probably be that. And the best parts will be the stuff with him and Hugh Jackman. But they'll let Ryan Reynolds improv too much, so it'll get a little too. You know, it doesn't.
Well, the worst part of the one thing that just kind of popped in my brain, I feel like maybe
Red Notice.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say so. I
The
feel like
Adam Project.
because he asked, "Hey Hugh, you want to play Wolverine again?" He was like, "Oh yeah, Ryan, it's gonna be like." Did someone mention the Thor? How they did like the play version of Thor in the movie?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Like, there's gonna be something stupid where it's like, well, Hugh said he'd play Wolverine again, but we didn't say who would play like that fucking game.
My thing with that is, and I said it before, I think you do something like that as a one-off gag when the movie comes out. You don't promo something like that 2 years in advance.
That's true.
Putting this much effort into it, letting people know way in advance, and then turning it out to be that kind of a joke. People have a sense of humor and they like Deadpool, but that would piss them off. That's not going to be a kind of joke that fans are going to like. You know. So I don't think you promo something 2 years in advance like this to do something.
I also just think that, let's be real, they're going to keep saying, no, the Deadpool movie at Disney, like, they didn't tell us to remove a single joke, nothing. That's all going to be such a fucking lie.
But I wouldn't mind.
Well, they'll do some kind of thing where he gets censored and he'll get bleeped, and he'll know he's getting beeped, and they'll complain about it. That's how they'll get around it.
Yeah.
They already make a joke because I was just thinking about. I was like, it'd be cool if they brought it back, but I feel like they already did that with the first one. Like how we always talk about the unrated cut DVD, Blu-ray fronts. Like, they brought that back and put it back as like the early 2000s style or mid 2000 or 2010 style. Like, but I feel like they've already done that.
No, I mean speaking of like the marketing stuff, like the original Deadpool, they like had all those covers at like Walmart. Like Fight Club, you could get with like Deadpool's face on the cover, and like it was a bunch of those are pretty neat from like a marketing standpoint. But I don't know if they do that in actual like the movie world of it.
Anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of good marketing though, with it, they the other week at the other day at the baseball game, the horror movie Smiles coming out. It's probably the best marketing I've seen. Like Gorilla, we were watching. It was Friday Night Baseball, and I think they had it. These people on like 3 different like broadcasts, 3 different games, and they were just smiling very creepily in the back. And there's no.
Yeah, I saw you tweet about it, and then confirmed that it actually was.
Yeah, and like at first, like it's like, oh, that's so weird. And I remember like the camera zoomed in, and she had to stand up and it just read smile. Didn't even say watch it. But before she stood up, you didn't see that. And I'm like, that's weird. And now it's like a thing. Then they saw like a guy at another game sitting in the rain doing it. Sitting in the rain doing it. I love the idea
of local actors in like all these cities getting hired because they can all right, do an audition. Who's got the creepiest smile? Let's see them.
And think about it. They're probably this is right behind home plate. So let's say they're probably $1,000 a ticket or whatever. Like not crazy money for a studio to spend. And I don't know. You're paying an actor like just smile through a whole broadcast, and you're going to sit in that seat for like 4 innings because they move after a while.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be weird if they sat there through the whole game.
And then
be like
and it was probably
getting peanuts like.
And it's the first thing you Google, and it comes up, smiling lady or whatever.
Or man.
Hey, I appreciate
There was a
that.
man in it.
Honestly, the marketing push for Smile, they want this to be the horror movie of Halloween season. They want there's hope there'll be enough space between Barbarian now. There's been a little break. They want Smile to be the big. Every movie I've seen a lot of movies in the theater the last 2 months, and every movie has had at least one, sometimes two previews for Smile.
Oh, really?
I've seen that trailer a billion times.
Saw it
now.
once. I thought it looked good, and that's all I need.
I thought it looked like shit.
I know you did.
And I'm watching, and I'm like, this looks bad and dumb.
Which one?
And then I was like, I'll watch it when it comes to streaming. And then I saw one guy saying he thought it was really good, but I've only seen that one guy. He said it twice, but it's only been him. I've never seen anybody else talk about it.
It's probably not. It's probably not very good.
No matter what, it was never. I was like, that's a streamer. I can tell. That's at streamer at best.
So,
what do you guys say about it, Bashful?
I was gonna say Yusuf's been, pretty quiet. Now he just left.
That's
he was just like, "What are you guys saying?" We're talking about Smile.
Yusuf's looking just like Bashful the dwarf.
Oh,
that's like
His beard is getting pretty long.
I follow so many horror things and the hyping up like Terrifier 2, and I'm like,
I hate that fucking movie. That first movie drives me nuts. My friends like it.
They're fine. The first one's fine, but I'm like, it's.
I don't think I've ever even heard of it.
It's just like a modern, like the clown, that white clown with the blood on its face. Usually, you definitely seen imagery of it. It's from All Hallows Eve.
You've seen the clown on Halloween.
You've seen the clown.
I've probably seen the clown.
Art the clown.
I don't like.
But
I've obviously not watched Terrifier.
This is as someone like with Fire of Fear, and I follow so many horror accounts and like all of this. What drives me crazy, and this is just the way of it, is it doesn't matter what the fucking horror movies. Every person has to love it, and it's the best, and don't you do this and that, and the effort, and it's exhausting. Some things are just fucking bad.
Right.
Yeah,
like Orphan. No, we don't bring that here.
No, nobody wants to.
Orphan First Kill. I'm sorry. I had fun laughing at it, like in the sense of like, this is so dumb, but it's shit. Yeah. It's not crazy. It's shit.
Well, that's like, and to a lesser extent, this movie wasn't bad or anything, but I retweeted this. It's like, oh, I saw Barbarian, I really liked it, but all those people that were like, don't read anything, it's not what you expect. I don't know. It was pretty much what I expected.
I don't know what it is. I didn't read anything.
Fine. It was like, it wasn't so outrageous. And I felt the same way. I was like, this is very good, but I kind of, based on all that, I kind of kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, and I was like, oh, okay, it's just basically shaping up to be what I thought it was.
I want to see Pearl. That's on
that looks really good too. I really like.
How did you guys feel? Everybody see X? Did everybody?
Yeah,
see
I liked X, but
did you like X?
Yeah, but I liked it because it was like we talked about it before. It was not a horror movie. It was like a dupe to get the people that are like, this is gonna be so scary.
Exactly. I liked it as a plot to fuck with horror movie fans, but as far as the movie went, I was like, it's just fine. And I said the same thing about, I was like, I'll watch Pearl again when it streams, when I can watch it streaming. I'll check out Pearl, and they're doing a third one too about her character
Maxine.
Maxine, Maxine with 3 X's. So and I'll check that out too. But I mean, I think I was more impressed with like the kind of twist marketing of X than I was with the actual movie. So.
I was impressed that we got to see Brittany Snow naked. I'm not gonna lie. That was something we've all wanted since Pitch Perfect.
We've all wanted. Yeah,
I knew who that was. I mean, I always like to see somebody get naked in a movie.
But there was one of those people where I was like, cool. You didn't seem like you were gonna do this because you were in Pitch Perfect.
That's like when the girl in Cabin in the Woods got topless, and she was like the yellow Power Ranger. And it's like, good for you. Take the reins of your career and you do what you want to do. You'll get locked into being the Power Ranger.
You did it with Ty West. It's tasteful.
Right. It's class. You picked a classy director who's like actually got some cred. You didn't do it for some scumbag on a streaming service or some shit.
The creepiest one of all time, talking about like just scumbag directors, is there's a featurette with Eli Roth.
And that dude's a fool.
It's for fucking.
I just watched Inglourious Basterds, and I love that movie. And I'm like, man, it would have been great if anybody else played the Bear Jew.
It's for Thanksgiving. Adam Sandler was supposed to play the Bear Jew.
That would have been amazing.
He turned it down to do Funny People.
That's
Yusuf.
And the featurette is so fucking gross and cringy. I think I watched it last year for some reason. And he's like, "What? We have a girl on a trampoline. You don't think we're gonna make her do a bunch of takes?" And I was like, "Oh man, you guys like printed this and put this like on your special features, like being funny, and it was gross."
Yeah.
Anyway,
Topic.
The wild times.
Speaking of
topics.
nice
We talked a lot about. That was a good intro, man. We talked about more than I expected. That was a good one. My episode's shaping up, except for Yusef, who is like doing a bit, and I don't know what he thinks he's up to over there. But he's all like, "I'm gonna see how long I can go without talking, and nobody will notice." We all notice. We get it.
I want attention.
Oh yeah, give me some attention. And now that fucking TJ told me you're dressed like Bashful, I can't unsee it. Got the little hat, the outfit. I mean, if he had the white, if his beard was white, dead on, dead on. All right, what was the first topic we did? Oh, I came up with this topic. This was just a thing. I don't know what made me think of it, why I wanted to do this, but I thought, wouldn't it be fun if we all just cast the other three Flyboys into some movie roles? Whether it be like a role that exists that you really like, that you think one of us would be fun in, or a trope, a specific archetype that you'd like to see us play. I don't know. It was just a dumb thing. I like to do dumb things, so you know what? I'll start with just to get the ball rolling.
How about we all do like a TJ, and then we'll do Joe, and then
I like that. Pick one, and then
Okay, all right. Well, let's go. Let me start with Joe, because when I was giving the test to the guys, I was like, "Oh, Joe could be like the asshole, the first guy who gets killed in a slasher movie," and I was like, "No, he deserves better than that. He does deserve to play an asshole, though." And I think like Joe would be the perfect head of the rival fraternity in like a college comedy. You know, he's got a polo shirt and a scarf and a fucking sweater tied around it. And he's real smug, and he's always getting the upper hand throughout the whole movie until he gets his big comeuppance at the end, where he probably has to eat dog cum or something. I don't know.
I mean, but that's just like a Tuesday for Joe, though.
yeah, man. I mean, like dog eclairs.
Oh,
so that's kind of what I would like. I was just thinking how fun it would be to see Joe snide to pores, you know.
I kind of picked the same thing. I picked the hotshot cocky rival that, you know, he's the big shot at the school, and then the new kid arrives and he's like threatened by his the new alpha dog in the school, and he's like
Johnny,
the lead.
You want to see him as Johnny Lawrence?
Wow, you guys are just...
but like I want to see him like Mean Girls. Like I want to see him like that level of petty and like obsessed. Yeah. And all his buddies smoke cigars and will have like those pull-up polo shirts.
Sounds fun.
2 or 3 polo shirts where they layer them up.
3. And for some reason, like one dude is in like biology class, but he has like a sweat bandana on here, just in case he has to, you know, wipe off the sweat. That's his crew right there. Frosted tips.
Damn.
I also definitely pictured a crew of like cronies, you know, that follow him around.
And he has like a side hustle just selling Ritalin. That's Joe. That's
Ritalin.
How about you, TJ? What did you put Joe in?
I didn't do like a type. I recasted Joe.
Okay.
Watch this. All these movies I've rewatched in like the past 7 days at least. And this one just because obviously Joe's the youngest of us. And the reason why I picked a lot of these roles is like that's just all within the movie, but specifically for these people. And I'm recasting with Joe as Johnny in The Outsiders. You're Mafio's character. You're the little brother of the group. There's also like boy, Brian. You're the Patrick Swayze character. You're Mickey Yusef. You're Emilio Estevez's character. Like I just see all these characters, but also specifically you with Johnny, just for the innocence that you also
the innocence. We put him as a cocky asshole, and he's like, "You're so innocent."
Thank you.
Innocent baby.
Yeah, man. And also like the whole thing, like let's do it for Johnny, and I can see you
a guy.
Yeah, pulling up to the church and then just being like, I don't know if we should, and you're like, I gotta do it, man. And then you're the hero eventually in the end, but you know, Johnny.
Well, this was a humbling round for me.
Yeah, this does not actually bode very well, I don't think. For the
Yeah,
rest of
no,
the
I
game.
see how like all of you think of me
I
instead
don't
of
like where the
instead of being like, yeah, I know, yeah, like he's the fun guy.
Oh, we think you are a great friend.
You, you're nice.
How about you go?
Well,
Joe?
I'm
We
gonna
just know how you could perform.
and I'm gonna pick Brian, but I have much nicer things to write about.
No,
Uh,
I don't have nice.
so I just recast it.
Fine.
And when I recast all of these, everyone's going to just be playing them line for line. No, same outfits, same differences. Immediately, Brian came in the Idris Elba role in Prometheus.
That's awesome.
You're just,
Now you feel like an asshole.
yeah, you just captain a ship. You get to fuck Vickers.
Yeah, I mean, I get to get down with Charlize Theron. That's right.
Yeah.
You can play.
I like that. I was gonna say I get the little Steven Stills. I do
Yeah,
have the
I was like,
Steven
well,
Stills. I do. Yeah,
know,
that's fair.
If you can't have the one that you love the one that you're with, something like that. I don't
Yeah.
know the lyrics.
you have a bit. You're trying to do an American accent, but you really haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah, I know.
I
You're
get to
like
be
coming
playing
in and out
Benedict
of it.
Wong. Also, I do think me and Benedict Wong would have good chemistry.
Yeah. So that's how I chose to answer for you at least. Well,
I wanna go for Brian. Brian, I put
No,
the storyteller / town drunk. So he's gonna be that one guy in the cusp of the middle act that is just flat out drunk in the bar. And he's telling the story that perfectly connects with what our heroes are trying to achieve. Like he saw the thing, or he did that thing, or he heard the thing that they
Or
needed
I'm
to
telling
do.
or maybe a drunken story that's like not about what they're doing, but like gives them the idea
Yeah.
of what they
Mhm.
need to do. That kind of
And
thing.
everybody in the bar is like fucking tired of him because he's always talking over everybody. He's always telling the same stories over and over. But the protagonists are like, "Oh fuck, this is the shit that I needed."
is he also a like a doom mouth in there too? Like in the horror movie, like don't go in there, like that.
No, he's
Oh
just
yeah,
talking out of his
the
ass.
harbinger.
Yeah,
The
I like to call
harbinger.
on Fear. I like to call them doom mouths.
But that's me. That's the pick for Brian. How about you, T? Oh, you already said everybody, right? Or you have something else?
No, he has something else.
No,
yeah, I just mean I can cast all of us in the movie in some type of role.
yeah, it wasn't all outsiders characters.
Oh no. For Brian's, I went for a smaller character, one of my favorite characters, and like I wanted to just because Brian wanted to or loves Alien franchise and all that stuff. Wanted to cast in something in there, but it felt too forced.
Mm.
So I was like, this character I love and just kind of fits you. It's I can't even say his name. Pete Postlethwaite. Wait,
Okay, yeah, I know Pete Postlethwaite.
him in the Lost World as
yes.
Which
because
In the
of
Lost
fact
World,
they,
the Jurassic
they
Park
force
sequel
you,
is like the hunter dude.
yeah.
but like they
Not
force
Vince
you-
Vaughn.
Yeah, they want you to like hate him, but then like he has like a lot of like, even the part where like I think about with the podcast, like the one dude that Hammond's like nephew is like, oh, we'll make camp here, and he's like, yo, check that, don't do that. He's like, if you want me here and you want me to do this stuff for you, we gotta do it this way, and it's gotta just make sense, and like it just you kind of like the guide of it type of thing, but also at the end where it's like,
I see what you're saying.
yeah, like he's like, oh, when you'll come work for me in San Diego, and he's like, I've been around enough death, and I don't want to be around you anymore, type of a thing. And like I would give that a little bit more of a role, but you fit that perfectly.
Oh, I love it.
Nice.
That's a great one. That's an honor.
Let's do TJ.
No, I don't want. No, we can skip over me.
No, I got
No,
TJ.
Oh, come on.
So TJ is the career criminal, man. That one dude that our protagonists pick up from the street because he knows what's happening on the street, but he has such a long petty crime list that the cops can lean on him.
Well, he's
And
the
he's
John
always like-
Leguizamo character.
Yeah, he has a Punisher tattoo on his chest. He's always kind of high. His eyes are bloodshot.
Yeah, man. I know.
Hey man, leave me alone. I'm no rat. I'm no rat. I know my rights. And
Come on,
he
I've been
always
clean.
tells
I've been staying out of trouble.
That's TJ.
He's the guy in the Law and Order episode they harass before they find the guy who actually did the crime.
Yeah, that's him. That's TJ. That's him. He's a good guy at heart. He just has a rough patch.
I like
Where did you see him, Brian?
Joe.
I thought TJ should be put into one of his favorite films.
Oh, that's so nice.
Costume and all, he's also so fit. He's such a physically fit boy. I want him to be Bane
Oh my god.
in The Dark Knight Rises.
Ooh.
But like once again, scene for scene, look for look, shot for shot. Like you're going up against Christian Bale, and you have to be physically imposing. Like I want everything.
Well, you of course he would get the training right. He would get the Tom Hardy training regimen. He'd get to bulk up. The studio would pay it.
No,
to
as
bulk up.
is.
No.
He'd get huge.
No, you
No,
don't
as
get
is.
blackfaced. He doesn't.
He doesn't need to change his body for nobody.
No,
As is.
TJ with the vest and the big coat, but it's him today.
Oh,
Dude, I can fill it out.
Yeah, I mean,
He's swimming in that
no,
coat.
that was at his discretion. I wasn't implying.
it's not to shame TJ, but it's
Yeah, those.
yeah, it just goes. Oh,
I was laughing. Somebody was tweeting the other day about the Christian Bale's commitment to the Batman voice, even while he's getting his ass absolutely handed to him by Bane. Like, I'm still doing the scary voice. You're coughing up blood, my dude.
Oh, that man must have been pissing.
The worst one is when he says it to himself, like when Catwoman disappears and he's like, it's like, dude, who you doing it to?
It's like
alone.
Yeah, he's just like, and I thought I was the weird one, or like something. That was the trailer soundbite.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Catwoman.
She's cool.
Yeah. What about you, Brian?
Oh, okay. So I want to see TJ as again. I did more archetypes than castings, but
I want to see my
wanna see-
Jesus with angel wings,
I wanna
like
see
Leung
TJ
lead vocals.
as the the coach of a ragtag group of loser kids in some sports movie. He's he's
Bad
like
News Bears,
Emilio. He's not Emilio though. He's got to be drunker than Emilio.
Bad News Bears. Bad News
He can't
Bears.
start out
Yo,
as a fancy
I've been
lawyer.
watching-
He has to be more of a loser than that.
I've been
He has
watching.
to be like Billy Bob Thornton or Walter Matthau in Bad News Bears.
I've been
Or Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks in a League of Their Own.
Tom
Yeah.
Hanks. Exactly.
I've been watching
but of
so much
course-
30 Rock that I'm like, Jack Donaghy would be like Emilio Estevez.
They do
Dude.
that episode where he takes over the him and
Tracy's kids.
Team. Tracy's
Yeah.
kids,
This is about me, Joe.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, I see
And we gotta
TJ,
talk about
sculpts
sitcoms. in the middle of
things,
the
and it's like
episode.
he has
It's
his
been our
own,
trademark
he's got his
now
own
for a while.
backstory, his own faded glory of years gone past of his athletic bygone era, but he imparts that into the kids and makes the next generation better and inspires, and they inspire him to clean up his life and become
that
a
was-
better man.
Actually, that was
he's a
like my
regular role.
second pick was like an Uncle Rico type role, like the
I
Napoleon
was gonna
Dynamite
say,
Uncle.
Like the joke version of that, basically.
Can I ask
No,
you
but
a
I
question?
want him to be Keanu Reeves in Hardball. Like, he still gets
Or-
Diane Lane.
Or we could kind of stay on the Emilio side. Can I ask a question about this? So what we're saying is, like, I had the skill, I lost at some point due to something. Do I get a second chance to make that big money in the big leagues?
No.
Oh, you want that
You're selling
Mighty
knives
Ducks-
door
you
to
wanna-
door.
You want to be able to go back to the minors like Emilio
Yeah.
did?
Yeah, and then work my way
I
up.
think so.
I'm in. I'm in this.
It's probably. What do you think? What's the sport of choice? Baseball? What are you gonna do? What do you think it's gonna be?
Well,
Hockey.
I'm 5'6" on my license. So you know what that means. So probably a quarterback in the NFL.
I'm into it. Absolutely.
I'm like Tony Danza.
So you're a mix of Ed O'Neill and Rick Moranis, Little Giants. You're like both.
Oh, that would be the perfect amalgamation of me. That's all it is. Yeah.
All right. Last but not least, let's do Youssef. TJ, why don't you start on him?
I
Tell us what Yusef
when
is. What's his deal?
I heard this, and I thought this made perfect sense for me because if anyone in this podcast has the brains for it, has the vocabulary, the verbiage, if you may, I'm going to recast using Yusef as Red in Shawshank Redemption. We get Yusef as the voiceover. We get him with
Get
Tim.
my sweet accent on that voiceover.
Get busy living or
Beautiful.
get busy dying.
Yeah, but you have to do the Creole, whatever he's doing in that also. With your own on top of it. But that's what makes it so pure. And we'll call and like we could even rename you. I know Red
To
and
Colorado.
Red and Irish guy.
Just red in Spanish.
And you still gotta do the joke about. I think it's because why do they call you El Colorado? Because I'm Irish. I think it's because I'm Irish.
So like I just feel like we need two versions. We need the actual physical acting of you and the beautiful voiceover. So if I had to pick, it has to be Red.
I'm down for that.
That's a good one.
I'm not down for Shawshank, but I'll do it if the money's right.
You get all that money at the end underneath that cold stone, whatever.
No, I'm talking as an actor, as a thespian.
Oh,
if the
yeah,
money's
man.
right.
Well,
Just
that's why Morgan Freeman took that role.
Yeah, don't get in trouble.
He
So,
got
I
to
don't know,
keep
the money was
that he
good.
found under that tree. That was real.
Yeah,
They made him do the whole movie, and they said, "Hey, in this last scene, you get your check."
Yeah. Make sure to contact your lawyers.
But you, Joe.
Oh, I mean, like he's gonna star in one of my favorite films of all time. Lead role opposite a comedic genius. He will be playing the Queen Latifah role in Bringing Down the House. Him and Steve Martin.
It'll be a fucking honor.
And once again, you're gonna have your love interest with
Is he playing
Eugene
the role
Levy.
as a woman, or is he just Yusef as?
So not Taxi opposite Jimmy Fallon.
No,
I
have some respect.
I have better taste.
No, so
I have
he
better
doesn't.
taste in men.
He's gonna wear the same like high booty shorts that Queenie wears throughout the whole movie. No, I think he plays it as a woman, but it's still Yusef.
Right.
Like he's playing the same role. Like Steve Martin thinks he's flirting with a beautiful inmate, and it becomes beautiful Queen Latifah because the movie's super racist.
This sounds like a Wayne.
Well, I mean, you're already recasting a woman of color, cis male, hetero male. So I mean,
But
diversity.
He's still POC though.
Yeah, and
so,
I made a black man
your
your
woke
role.
cred, bro.
I swapped you in. I swapped the black role with you anyway.
You're just taking away roles for black people.
Yeah.
I am now
basically
2 for
Joe's
2 on black roles. I got Morgan Freeman and I got
Joe's
Queen
a Little
Latifah.
Mermaid truther.
Yeah, guys.
I got
my character was written white, so it's up in the air for anybody.
yeah.
No one gave me. Actually, TJ
The
was accurate.
original one,
He traded
Morgan
one
Freeman
guinea in
got
for
a
another
movie.
guinea, and I could say that.
And I'm allowed to say that's our word. I'm
Yeah.
allowed to say that.
He's like Ralph Macchio.
As
Joe.
long as I get to
Somebody say
wear
Karate Kid.
her hats, I'm down. If I get to wear the hats, all those weird beret things.
Yeah. No, you literally get to cornrow.
Yeah, man, it's me,
Eugene
and
Levy's
Steve
hair.
Martin. It's me, Steve Martin, and Eugene Levy. Like,
get
have
to
you ever heard of
call-
a better comedy trio?
You get to call the kid from 2.5 Men or whatever the little kids when that one was. You could say, "You go, Lil Romeo," because that's her line. I love that movie.
This is
You've
bringing
seen Bringing
down
Down
the
the House
house.
a lot of times, haven't you, Joe?
This is bringing down the house, not man.
At least a dozen.
Jones.
It's two different things. It's kind of the same shit.
Oh,
but
that's
two
Man of the House. That's going
Man
to
of the house.
He's going to
That's
cheer
a
camp.
question for a future episode. Is what is a movie you've seen a bunch of times that people would be surprised to find out?
We
Unless you
did
wanna
one.
do
We
an
did one.
impromptu round right now. Hold on, I gotta talk about Yusef first.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's my pick for Yusuf because I really think he'd bring
What
the same.
black role are you giving me, Brian?
No. In fact, I want to tap into your, I want to tap into your Hispanic heritage. I want to use your I was thinking, I kind of teased in the chat that I thought maybe like some sort of South American revolutionary would be a good role for you, but I think I want to expand that where you're actually a drug kingpin who is like in control over this area, but like
Hard right.
as the more you're like taking advantage of the people like a drug lord, you're a bad guy, but like you actually start to kind of turn a corner because you see how like the government's even worse, and you like start to feel bad, and you kind of go Robin Hood style and start like using
Pablo
your drug
Escobar.
shit for
I was
using
gonna
your
say
drug
Pablo
shit to do
Escobar.
good and whatever. So yeah, I want to do something like that, Pablo Escobar, but
But
maybe
better.
you only murder people who had it coming or something.
Yeah, I'm down
Scarface.
for that too. Yeah, as long as like and then I'm like justifying all my actions with like, no, I have to provide for my wife and my kids. Like
Right.
that's why I have to kill all these kids because
I have to kill other children because of my children, because I love my
that's why I
children
put a
so
bomb
much.
in the school. That's why I put a bomb in the
Should've
school. I have
recast
to
him as
protect my
Robin Hood.
kids.
That would be good. Robin Hood. That would be good.
Me as Robin Hood.
Or Davy Crockett if they made a Davy Crockett movie. No.
Hmm.
Fight Davy
No,
Crockett.
Yusef is Santa Ana in a new Alamo movie. Now we're talking.
All right, I'm fucking Oscar Isaac now. All the
Hell yeah, now you're
Hispanic
getting
roles
good
are
shit.
mine.
Getting some Oscar bait now.
Yeah.
Let's turn you into Chris Pratt. Let's get you.
Fuck Diego Luna. I'm back now,
I'm
baby.
back, baby.
All right, topic.
All right,
This
you know
this
what? That was as
this
fun
was-
as I thought it would be. So
That was. I feel like we needed that creativity back. In
that was
these
almost like as
questions.
close as I've ever come to creating a game on this show.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh.
Oh,
How
game.
about
Yeah,
we do a game? How
I
about
got
we
a
do
game. I got a game. So we're talking about Hard Boiled. So I was an action game, and like all of our games, it's just going to be a poor description of an action movie. So you have your genre, and when I say name that movie, you guess. And I was always complete to name that movie. Are you guys ready? Pretty
You're gonna
straightforward.
say the whole question, then you're gonna say name that movie, and then we buzz in with our name, right?
Yes, and they are action
Somebody
movies.
busts in too quickly, they go to the back of the line,
Yes.
or are they eliminated?
Back of the line. I think everything's pretty easy. What we're getting. So, all right. Ready, set, name that movie. The game,
said-
not the. Sorry, that was confusing. The action movie game. Follow the rabbit hole in some nice BDSM gear. Name that movie.
Yusef,
Yes.
The Matrix.
Yes. Let me get my. Let me make my.
game. Cocky for my last win.
All right. I seashell. You are frozen in time and have to stop your greatest enemy. Name that movie.
Brian,
Yes.
Demolition Man.
Yes.
DJ. Damn it.
It's stopped me for a second. I was like,
It's hard.
All right. The December debate of this movie has grown very dull. Name that movie.
Yusef.
Yes.
Me
Yusuf.
or him?
Yeah.
Die Hard.
Yes, sir.
Die Hard 2 is a Christmas movie.
It's so tired.
No, Die Hard 2. I'm starting a new discussion, Joe.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
This is a whole new debate. I'm ready to have it.
All right, next question. But you see, he's a good guy this time, but in the first one he was bad, but now he's good. Name that movie.
Yusef.
Ryan.
I heard Yusuf.
The Terminator 2.
Yes, sir.
Oh
Got
man, I was
that
gonna say
good
that new
connection.
movie.
He's
that
always
just came
keep
from
beating me out. That
Don't
microphone was pop filter.
All
Son of
right.
a bitch.
All right.
Young Woo.
Next question. It's like that movie with the meatball sandwich from the 90s, but now it's with more Riddick. Name that movie.
Brian.
Yes.
Fast and the Furious.
Yes.
Oh.
The
Okay.
Point Break ripoff.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next question. All right, like what if we just put all these like monsters in the sky? Name that movie.
repeat the question.
All right, what if we just put all these monsters in the sky? Name that movie.
TJ.
Yes.
Monsters in the Sky.
No.
Never heard
I
of
didn't
it.
hear the question. So.
All right. One more time.
My connection got fucked up.
I thought I couldn't tell if you were just stoic or like waiting. All right. Okay. What if we put all these monsters in the sky? Name that movie.
Rain of Fire. Oh crap! I didn't buzz in.
I watched that earlier today.
All right. I'm gonna change
It's a
one
good
word
movie.
of the
Rain of Fire is a
question.
rad movie.
It's a good movie.
He already guessed though. I haven't guessed.
What's your guess?
He doesn't have a guess.
I don't have a guess.
All right. I'm gonna change one word in the question in the answer. So get ready, and I have to say name that movie. Okay. What if we put all these criminals in the sky? Name that movie.
Yusef.
Brian.
Yusuf.
Con Air.
Yes.
Why would you say monsters?
Because I wasn't trying to be so blatant with like.
They are monsters. To be fair,
I was thinking I was gonna say Pacific Rim, but I was like, they're not in the sky, and that's
Yeah.
not an
only
action.
one takes off and flies.
All right. We got 3 more questions, and we'll just play it out to the end at this point. This is the question. It's just a car chase. Name that movie.
TJ.
Yusef.
TJ.
Gone in 60 seconds.
No.
Fuck.
Brian.
Yeah.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Yes, sir.
But I said it before after TJ.
No, we had a new round. It came around again.
Sorry,
What the
Yusuf.
fuck?
I had missed yours.
I
All
was like,
right.
Nope.
All right.
Too late.
All right. Is everyone alert? Everyone ready? This is the next question. This gave us our most views in and handsomest men in Flyover history. Name that movie.
Yusef.
Yes.
RRR.
Yes.
Could have got one fucking point and messed it up.
All right. Last question. I mean, this is just for fun at this point. A legend kills all the characters in this crime epic of Cow and Mouse, or should I say Rat? Name that movie.
TJ.
Yes.
The Batman.
What?
The Batman.
No.
God damn it.
Can you repeat it?
Yeah. A legend kills all of the characters in this crime epic of Cat and Mouse, or should I say Rat? Name that movie.
Yusef.
Yeah.
Young Wick.
No.
I took a stab in the
I'll
dark.
let Brian we'll give you a 1.
Stewing on it
El
for a
Rapada.
second here.
It's probably the best written question I've ever had once you get the answer.
These questions are too hard. I want like
Is it The
trivia
Departed?
smoke out.
It's The Departed.
Yeah.
I thought it was clever.
That's a
It's
good
too
one.
hard.
That's good. That was
All right,
clever.
so Yusuf, you won by 1 point. TJ, I thought they were all pretty like some good context clues. Anyway, that's the game.
I should have won
Yeah,
by
yeah,
2
good.
points because
Got
I
a
buzzed
brain
in
to it,
second for Max fucking Fury. Topic.
Damn it.
The monster
He still
question.
won. He's complaining. He won, but he's still whining. He's still complaining.
Hey man,
Yeah,
I'm never
man.
satisfied. I'm always looking to improve.
Call him Yusuf Trump.
I thought of this question all by myself because we're talking about an action movie. So I figure that's action directors. You know, your own preference, I assume. Would be the question, whatever you like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure when you were thinking of this question, you were probably like, John Woo is like an iconic action director. There's certain directors who are like name value, or maybe you think they should have that name value, or they're going to in the future or something. Yeah, right,
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah.
Was that what you were
He
thinking?
directed the movie.
John Woo, yeah, he directed The Hard Boiled.
He
And
directed,
then that
he
was his,
directed
like,
the hard boiled.
We can talk about it when we get to the movie, but that was kind of his like
Well,
opus over in Hong Kong cinema, and then he like transitioned to American movies after that, basically.
TJ was inspired by Sean Levy, actually.
His favorite.
Big Adam Project
Hear
fan.
you.
Yeah, I'll start. I have all the classics here just in case we don't mention them, but I wanted to pick something that maybe didn't come to your head immediately, and that's Sam Raimi. With the Quick and the Dead, the Spider-Mans, the Darkmans,
I would say Darkman.
the Evil 3.
Raimi's Quick and the Dead is one of my favorite modern westerns.
Oh, yeah.
Early
Fucking
Flyover
love that
films.
movie. Yeah, well, that's one of my picks. I fucking love that movie. Even I didn't finish it, but I kind of saw that he was in his bag too with Doctor Strange. I didn't care
was
for it,
fun.
but the
Doctor Strange
action
was
was
fun.
pretty well done.
I would say Doctor Strange, if you wanted a romp, but you didn't like Thor, like I know Yusuf didn't like the Thor movie. The Doctor Strange movie is more of a romp you could probably get into. You know what I mean? Because it's
I
got that
haven't
Sam
seen any
Raimi
of them.
vibe to it and stuff. So
I haven't seen either.
But yeah, like if you never seen like Quick and the Dead, you're doing a disservice. And like Spider-Man 1 and 2 set the precedent or set the standard for what the action comic book movies are today. The Darkmen are like a fun cult classic that have good action in them. He has a great eye for composition, and like the action sequences are actually very entertaining. So that's my pick. That's one of my picks, at least. Sam
What's your
Raimi.
pick?
Joe.
Yeah, I mean, like I did go basic, and I actually more wanted to say this because I was thinking I was like of action movies I like, and I'm sorry, I hate to say it, except for the truly terrible ones. I'm a sucker for all the Michael Bay-isms. I think he makes I think
mean, the
it
man
is
knows
a
how to
joke.
shoot action. You can't deny it.
I think it's a fun joke. You know what I mean? Like I think it's a fun joke and like corniness, and he shoots action. But like, man, even like the from the Bad Boys movies to even that first Transformers movie isn't that bad. Like it's an enjoyable like action film.
There's the stuff that's in it, like the kind of like all the shit around the action is what kind of like turns you off. But if you break it down, like that initial scene where the helicopter shows up and then turns into a transformer and goes nuts on that base at the beginning of the transformer, that's rad. Like you can't watch that and tell me that's not a great action scene.
And I like but obviously The Rock is like first one, and then like I saw Ambulance this year. Like it was a little too serious, but like totally fun. Like would I go for that? So I just wanted to put that stigma out there because it is a joke. But I was like no, as an action director, he does his job. Yeah. He's a fucking goober.
And Armageddon is like dumb fun too.
Yeah, he's a fucking goober. Like
you got to give the man his props because he still loves practical explosions. That's a man after my own heart. I love a good practical explosion in a movie.
I have a I have a pick that's a little more different. Not different. I have a pick that's like
we can do another round.
I'll just do another mention because someone's gonna mention who I'm gonna mention. Anyway, Michael Bay was there. I felt like it was low hanging fruit, but I felt like it had to be said.
Yeah.
No, that's fair, especially like the topic at hand with action directors.
Yeah.
I'll say for me,
we got TJ.
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, we've talked about him before, but we talk more specifically about the movie, which we've done a Flyover episode on. But I don't know if he gets enough credit for being necessarily an action director compared to like just being great at like creature movies and stuff like that. But Guillermo del Toro with Hellboy 2, Blade 2, Pacific Rim, just shooting.
Pacific Rim is incredible.
Yeah, those are more action movies.
I feel like it's gotten a little forgotten because of the MonsterVerse, but Pacific Rim is unreal how good it is.
But even in stuff like Shape of Water and whatnot, which isn't an action movie, like there's sequences shot like that.
Well, when you were talking about Raimi, I was gonna say like even his horse of even Evil Dead, like his camera is an action movie camera. It acts like an action movie camera, and he directs like an action movie director.
It's very dynamic.
And so, like, I think you can say that about Guillermo too. Is like, even when he's directing horror, he still like his camera's dynamic, and it. Like,
I would still put like Golden Army against most, if not all, the comic book movies that are coming out today.
So good. Blade 2.
Blade 2. Yeah. Guillermo is a fantastic pick.
Yeah, like more specifically, like with him, like people don't think about his like action sequences when like just Blade 2. We talk about the club scene, like one of the beginnings where like it's about the characters too, with the Ron Perlman back and forth, the Wesley Snipes character with the lasers, and then like even with Hellboy 2, they're doing the same thing where every character has an interaction with the other one, but they become more in effect when the action scenes actually take off. And everyone's kind of playing off of each other or fighting each other at some point. Because even what he did with the kaiju and having a robot fight it, to any fucking young boy, it's a wet dream. But like seeing it on the scene where you see the emotions of the guys inside, with as fucking stone shitty as an actor as Charlie Hunnam is to me, like you see something come out, and when he's just going like this, kicking out the arms and like.
But man, Just
It
imagine
takes
if he had John Boyega in the
Yeah.
first Pacific Rim, how fucking good it would have been.
and like
If
that's
you
the
could
thing,
take
like,
out Charlie Hunnam and put in John Boyega, oh my god.
Yeah,
so like he'll always get the credit for Nightmare Alleys and The Shape of Waters, and which I think are great films. But like,
Make another Blade.
I wish he would have done The Hobbit, which
yeah.
for having
Oh
me.
yeah, don't even get
And
me started.
and you can and what I've always loved about the Guillermo factor is like people don't understand how fucking good of a director he is. Like when you take him out of things that was supposed to be his, they're crap. Like Pacific Rim 2 is shit, Hobbit 2 is shit. The new Hellboy, it has its fans, but compared to the original 2, it's
I would say
pure
both
shit.
the new Hellboy and the second Pacific Rim are like fine, but his absence is noticeable. You know
Yeah,
what I
that's
mean?
what
Like,
that, you know,
there's
that
stuff to
it would have
enjoy
been.
about them, but like without Guillermo, they're on a totally different level, which
Yeah.
but well below what they could have been.
He's just a legitimate visionary. Like,
Yeah.
He's an author.
He's got
Yeah.
a Pinocchio movie coming out that I'm so excited, like a stop motion Pinocchio movie coming out that I'm so excited.
oh, I'm sure it'll be better than
I haven't
Oh,
Then
seen
when
that.
Disney
I
Plus.
haven't watched. I can't bring myself to watch.
Oh, I didn't
that
watch it.
Disney
I didn't.
Plus
Full
one.
disclosure, I didn't even
TJ
watch
saw
that.
it. TJ saw it.
Ooh, I do want to see because, like, guys, what is Tom Hanks doing?
He's just
Cashing
collecting a check,
checks and being the biggest star in the fucking world.
He's
You know,
he's trying to
he's
make
just-
us forget about Chet Hanks.
No, he's saving money for that bail for Chet whenever that triple homicide
to get
happens.
Chet out of whatever like rape allegations gonna come
Yeah.
out about him eventually.
He's like, this is Chet. Like he signed on to Pinocchio and said Chet money.
Could we also? I mean, real quick. I know we have to get through the other things, but right before we recorded, Tom Hanks was like, "I've only done 4 good movies."
And you know what? He ain't wrong. I love Tom Hanks, but like you can be like, well, not. It's not like Tom Hanks has made a lot of movies, so it's easy to be like they ain't all hits.
I like.
I think we all just remember
Enough.
him. He just goes on that run in the '90s where it's just like
Well,
banger, bang,
And I think
bang.
what the thing is, people also is like he's always good, and you always like Tom Hanks, no matter what the quality of the movie is. He's right. Like he's done a lot of movies, and there ain't there's only so many classics. But like,
Well, he
he's
also
always
has,
good
like-
even in the bad movies. Yeah,
He also has like the Toy Stories too, so that's kind of like you
It's
can't
just
say
really.
always-
I wish we
Actually,
talked about it at the beginning because it's a really funny comment from like a guy. You're like, huh, you?
He's
I
always
said-
gonna be the little kid that got laid way before us. Which
Road to Perdition is actually the best comic book movie ever made.
See, I put Road to Perdition on my list like an asshole and left off League of Their Own, which is embarrassing. That's legitimate.
Yeah, League of Their Own, Burbs, and
Burbs.
Big, and there's so many.
okay, we get
Gilbert's
it.
Volcano is one of mine. Apollo
Joe,
13
Brian,
was
what's
up
your
there.
pick?
Oh, I've got some honorable mentions, some classics, or some people that I think have like gotten no attention already. But I want to shout out somebody who's only done 2, I think, major releases, but they both were bangers, even though they didn't necessarily hit for everyone. And hold on, he's got a name that is difficult to pronounce, so I want to make sure I don't fuck it up. It's excuse me, Ilya Naishuller, and he is the director of Nobody, but he also before that he did Hardcore Henry. And I know Hardcore Henry didn't hit with everybody, but at the bare minimum, it's incredibly innovative, it's incredibly creative, and it's incredibly well done. And then Nobody was just a blast. It's not necessarily groundbreaking from the genre, but the action in it is really great, and the stunts in it are really great, and it's just a really fun movie and a fun, see.
I haven't
And
caught.
I thought he's a guy with 2 in the bag. I'm definitely excited to see whatever his next movie's going to be.
Yeah.
Did he direct? He direct both those, I assume, not just
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
So like, I haven't seen Nobody yet. I've only seen parts of Hardcore Henry. It feels like the action's like more. Is it crankish? Is it like crank?
I saw Hardcore Henry
Hardcore Henry
once.
definitely has that element because it's all first person, so there's that kind of like real,
Nobody.
energetic feel to it. And I agree, and I think like I don't necessarily think it works 100% for the whole movie, but it is still a very solid action movie and a really interesting idea and a cool like execution, and I think he deserves credit for that, even though I don't think it's a thing that's going to catch on necessarily. You know what I mean?
I mean, it never did. I don't think
Right, and it's been a few years,
now.
and never did. Yeah, nobody ever even. But he deserves credit for giving it a chance and really executing it pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
Avatar 2.
Honorable mentions. Robert Rodriguez. Come on.
Oh,
I don't
classic.
think I have to say anything else.
Classic.
My like low hanging fruit answer was John McTiernan.
That was my low hanging fruit.
Yeah, when
that
you
was
put
like
out Predator and Die Hard back to back, you instantly like ascend to icon status.
I kind of just fell down a rabbit hole on IMDb because I was like, oh, I really liked I was thinking of Bonds, right? But like I feel like the action never stands out. One, Sam Mendes has made like Skyfall, and then Spectre wasn't very good, but the opening scene in the I think in Mexico City is a fucking great action sequence. And 1917, which is an action movie, but it's a lot of action. But then it led me to thinking of, well, who directed Casino Royale? And it's a guy named Martin Campbell. And I'm like, wow, he
has a few.
GoldenEye, Vertical Limit, the Zorro movies.
Yep.
And I'm like,
Vertical
those are all
Limit,
fun
one of the
movies.
rare places you can see Bill Paxton as a bad guy.
Yeah, all fun movies, not like does a lot of TV.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, if
The
you're the guy,
Zorro,
to be
Vertical
fair,
Limit,
if you're the guy
Casino
who did
Royale.
GoldenEye,
No, which one's Bill Paxton a bad guy?
Oh, Vertical Limit.
Vertical Limit. And
if you're the guy if you did GoldenEye and Casino Royale, arguably you made the best Bond movie in 2 Bond eras. That's pretty badass.
And I stand by this. He apparently made the Green Lantern movie with Seth Rogen. You don't cast Seth. Oh, so what's this Green Lantern? Oh, this is oh, never mind. That's the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern. So you know what, guys? We'll just move past. Anyone else have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, Tony Scott. I mean,
oh, fuck.
Are you not going to mention the other Scott?
Original Top Gun, with everybody creaming their drawers over Top Gun Maverick this year. You should shout out to the dude who did the original.
Beverly Hills Cop, Last Boy Scout.
Like 5 or 6 of the Denzel.
The Fan, I think.
Collateral.
Like he teamed up with Denzel a bunch.
No, Collateral. Collateral is Michael Mann.
I'm thinking of Michael Mann. I love Michael
Mann's
Mann.
A good answer too, though.
Yeah, and
Michael Mann's Miami Vice is actually a solid movie. It's just too long.
Yeah,
very long sex scene, very uncomfortable shower scene for Jamie Foxx.
Paul Verhoeven.
Or we could let's be woke. Catherine Bigelow, Lexi Alexander.
Woke.
Oh.
John
I was
Woo.
gonna say, and I just did the thing. What are my favorite action movies?
F. Gary Gray.
Years? Yeah.
Justin Lin. We're gonna keep just mentioning Minority.
No. Let me get one more out. The duo of Chad Stahelski and David Leitch, the guys who worked on the first John Wick, and then Chad Stahelski went on and directed the other John Wick sequels, and David Leitch did like Atomic Blonde and Deadpool 2 and Bullet Train. So both are still like very much in the action. Like
one is actually good, and the other one is just making shitty movies.
I still think the other guys. I like Atomic Blonde. I think Atomic Blonde's very
Atomic Blonde's good. Is Bullet Train the one that's coming out now, or okay? It had that slick trailer, and like it's not 2001.
It looked like one of those Netflix action movies, like
it looked like
Gunpowder Milkshake or something like that. It didn't feel like a real movie.
I feel like right now, anytime you see Brad Pitt, because he's not in things so consistently, like, ooh, it's Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Like he was in the trailer for The Lost City.
I feel like I see him everywhere.
And I was like, ooh, Brad Pitt.
That was the trailer for The Lost City though was like the most obvious bait I ever saw. Because I was like, even from the trailer, I was like, oh, he's gonna die immediately after rescuing.
Oh yeah.
Exactly what happened. Although they did bring him back, it was a twist.
But it still was like, ooh, Brad Pitt. That's how every time I see him, like, ooh, candy.
Everybody loves Brad Pitt.
I didn't see that twist because I am a normal human being, and when a movie ends, I don't assume that every fucking movie is gonna have a tag in there.
Wait, there's a tag with Brad Pitt at the end of Lost City?
Yeah, Brad Pitt comes back at the end of Lost City.
Oh, I didn't stay for the tag.
There's a tag at the end,
right? Because you're a normal human being. What the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's a rom-com.
A normal human being knows that there's always an option for a movie to do that.
You know what? Today there'd be like a 50-second dates. There'd be 51st dates, and they'd be like, actually, wait a minute, 52nd dates. She lost her memory again.
Let's talk about some fucking hard-boiled eggs, bro.
Hey, before we get started, can I go take a leak? I gotta pee.
Take it away, Brian.
This was my pick. This was my turn. It was my episode, so it's my turn. And I decided to just pick what's considered, I would say, an iconic action movie. And I wanted something that I hadn't seen in a long time, but that I knew that I liked the last time I saw it and I wanted to revisit, DVD bunker rules. So I picked Hard Boiled. Like I said earlier in the show, if you were listening, John Woo was he was like already very much a famous director in China and was very, respected. And this was like the pinnacle of his kind of career at this time in like the early 90s, like 92 this came out. And then this is the movie. Then after this is when he like transitioned over into American action movies, and he did Hard Target and Broken Arrow, and then Face Off, and in Mission Impossible 2, and John Woo movies. He did lots of John Woo movies.
Yeah, they fucking rule.
Yeah, they're excellent.
Dubs.
But some would say this is still to this day maybe his very best. So
it's just
was this a first time for anyone?
Yeah, it was basically my first time because I remember watching it as like TNT and with like an English dub or something like that in the 90s, but or early 2000s. But I don't remember it. So it was a first time. It was a fucking joy.
A few times.
TJ, first time?
No. Seen it like when I was a kid, but like this is my first time with like sitting and watching.
Yeah.
So paying attention to it. First time essentially.
Real quick, it's got it's a crime movie, so it's got a crime movie plot. Chow Yun-fat is like the kind of take no prisoners, pulling a China shop style detective who just kicks ass and kills people to get to like from point A to point B.
So many squibs.
And then and then you've got Tony Leung, who was
super young Tony.
Who was the Mandarin? Most recently, you might know him as the Mandarin in Shang-Chi.
Oh shit!
But,
yeah.
He is. At first, you're not sure. He's a
from
killer
Ip Man 2, Ip Man 3.
Crime syndicate. He's a killer. We actually see him like introduced by murdering somebody, but you come to find out, Departed style. Speaking of, he is also an undercover cop, but maybe who's gone too deep undercover and has kind of lost himself. Is he more criminal than cop now? Who knows? Who's to say? And these two men have to kind of team up and I don't know. What's the crime in this movie? Is there one? Is it just take down the syndicate?
It's a mafia.
I thought it was just take down the mafia syndicate.
It's not like a specific thing. It's like take them down, right?
Yeah, take them down. They have weapons coming in. They have a bunch of weapons coming in. And
it's gun. That's what it is. Gun running. Sorry. Okay, there you go. Yeah. I couldn't remember if it was drug import, or what it was. It's gun running. Yeah.
It's gun running. That's why there's so many guns.
That's like the opening sequence. Well, no, the opening sequence is a gem, which is
like the tea house, right? Or there's a tea house.
It's at the jazz house, the jazz club, and he's like preparing the drink, and then he's playing the flute and
clarinet. Excuse me.
I love it. It's a clarinet too.
The soundtrack of this movie has so much jazz clarinet in it. It's unreal.
I love that it's the clarinet because it's the least sexiest wind instrument out of
I wish that they kept going back there.
Give a little Brian history lesson. I grew up in the late 80s, early 90s. In an era, in a world where rock and roll bands had saxophone players. So when it came time to join the band at school, I wanted to play the saxophone.
Sure.
Fuck yeah, the saxophone. I'm gonna be dude in Lost Boys, like, that's me. And
Baby Oil.
My band, you had to at my school, you had to start. They didn't start anyone on the saxophone. You had to start with the clarinet. Everybody played clarinet, and then you could advance to later on, and like next year.
You gotta prove you blow good.
Moved, like sometime in that year or two where I would have advanced, I moved, and then I found myself just playing the clarinet in like a different school there was no path to me getting to do saxophone. So I pretty much just bailed on the band. But I too
was a clarinet kid in band that could not play.
Right? And I remember, did you ever have like wannabe? This is so funny. I had like family members who tried to be supportive of me by buying me like jazz clarinet like albums, like
No,
Benny
I don't.
Goodman albums and like fucking Kenny G and shit.
I don't.
They
I don't
were
have
like,
any of
this
that.
could be you, dude. Like,
Some reeds. Get you some reeds.
You can have some
clearly they called
tape.
my parents and were like, "What's Brian doing these days?" And they were like, "I don't know. Plays the clarinet, I guess."
That's 100%. Because at least our school, you went to band, so it's like you had to do something. And I think we had a clarinet, like it was like a hand-me-down one. So it was like I could do that, and it was terrible at it. I probably didn't even play in the winter pageant.
I played.
I think it was one of those
sports,
things
like
where
a
my
man.
parents weren't too keen on like forcing me to practice because I was so bad that they would have to listen to me practice, and they did not want to do that. So
Very cool looking instrument, though. I know we're talking about hard boiled, but it has a lot of knobs.
But it was a wonderful, and I love like the throwback to like the classic Hollywood openings with the neon signs and the driving through China.
So
well, and actual credits at the beginning of the movie, where you've
Yeah.
got like some stars' names just isn't like a big scene, and then the name of the movie comes up real small at the bottom.
And it's
then,
like five
Nope, my
fucking minutes, 5 minutes pass, and then we get our big like
Well,
just
say,
10-minute
you know-
action sequence.
They don't
So-
hesitate to get to the click, click, boom, boom, like real quick. So I'm sitting here, I'm like expecting like that long first like 15 minutes, just like leading in 20
Yeah.
setting up some characters.
That's what I thought the
right,
clarinet
like a
was gonna
regular
be.
movie.
And I was like, oh, okay, word, I'm up. Watch
Oh no,
it.
wait! 10 dudes just got machine gunned in half.
And that's the
They
same-
don't give a fuck
Yeah,
about
that's not
civilians in
slow.
this
Yeah.
movie.
Hell no! Civilians catch so many bullets in this movie. It's amazing.
There's so many extras just with blood squibs everywhere. Just pop, 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 pop. The one dude, I think,
It's
is in
just
the
set
very
piece.
first one that they just massacre him. Like they just had like fucking blood squibs from head to toe. His entire wardrobe
Dude goes up
exploded.
like Sonny Corleone.
This
don't see too
reminds me.
double pistols is like he used a lot of like double. You don't see a lot. Of
That's
double
his signature.
pistols, like ever. I'm thinking about I'm like some of my favorite like here is like even like RoboCop is the one gun through the leg. Even
Oh yeah, John Woo kind of like brought the double pistol thing. He
Yeah.
was, like, this big.
He probably didn't invent it, but he was the one that
'Cause I
fucking
remember-
perfected it.
Without knowing, we played. I remember playing my friends and I playing the sequel video game to this.
Stranglehold.
Yeah, John Woo's Stranglehold. It was on like
there's an
Xbox.
ad. I only remember the name because there's actually a little flyer in my DVD for like an ad.
Yeah, I remember we going over my friend's house, and I actually think early Netflix, like with the discs, hard boiled,
Okay.
because they just like sat there and we'd watch Chris. You all remember? We'd watch Chris play Stranglehold.
I played a
Yeah.
little. I mean, I know when it came out, I played it at least once or twice.
What I really like about like the first sequence is like they let you know right off the bat what type of fucking movie this is gonna be in terms of like the action. Like it's super gritty and serious, but at the same time that has so much flair. Like him going down the stairs in the rail and then just shooting at people. It's like
I
so
love-
fucking
For
unnecessary,
the
but
most
cool at the
part,
same
the
time.
vibe is he's like sliding down the rail, like shooting. But there are a couple of wide jumps where you can see his feet are on the steps, and he's still kind of like like kind of like walking down the steps a little bit. It's like, it takes a little of the mystique away.
I first blink at those parts, and they just never happen.
So this is, I don't know. This is also like one of those things. Like I would like first thing note, and it's so like cliche, is like the look of it, the colors, like the fucking setting. That like it actually like reminded me of like a Michael Mann like color palette.
Yeah.
Like the way like fucking red just shined on certain people, and there'd be like little neons. It was awesome.
Well, yeah, you can tell John Woo was like influenced by the crime movies he had watched. You got the
Yep.
the wet streets and the kind of like bustling, kind of grimy city streets, and he's using the city environment that he lived in. You know what I mean? He's coming from Hong Kong and like one of the biggest cities on the planet, so like he knew how to like make it. It feels real. It feels lived in. And it's very.
Would you say this is like at the time, especially like we just talked about RR&R, and this is like the Hong Kong version of RR&R, where it's like his last like his movie before he goes to America. It's like fucking huge. It's all of his tropes, and it's
No,
just
I don't know if he like knew he was going. I think this was such an undeniable hit, and it was like his one that crossed over.
But it's just
But it
set
did
piece
definitely,
after
it was
set
like a
piece.
culmination of all his kind of
Yeah.
like stylistic traits. He like honed them all in, and then like this was his big magnum opus. And like maybe even if he had never come to America, I still think this movie would be a classic. Like,
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, it would be like in the way people talk about Infernal Affairs, where it's like you can't even talk to a film nerd about The Departed anymore without Infernal Affairs.
You know who the remake?
You know it's actually a remake of the.
Did you see it? Yeah, I mean the same thing in the fucking horror lane with them. We talk about any of the J horror films of the time.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like I think he still this would still be an acceptable peak, even though maybe you might personally, some people might think he reached a little higher with Face Off, or like maybe he even refined it to a far further extent. But I think if this was his biggest movie and he never went on to American films, you would still be like, yeah, that's pretty badass. That holds up.
It's just fantastic. I mean,
and also like I feel like certain directors like can get like I'm not saying that he never reached this level because like Fat has a great career. He did like Placement Killers.
There's a little bit more.
And he did Crouching Tiger and all that fun stuff, and he's still working, I believe. But like,
Ang Lee did Crouching
Tiger.
Ang Lee's Crouching Tiger.
No, I'm saying Fat.
Chow Young.
Okay.
Yeah, like I'm saying, like certain directors can get such a great performance from actors, like kind of like Bong Joon and Song Kang. I'm sorry, the one that is always in all his movies, like Parasite, and then
Bong Hive.
He was the dad. He was the dad in Parasite.
Yeah, he's in
Blanking Heart. But like those directors, like you always associate them together, kind of like Martin.
Talk about Tony Scott and Denzel. You know, people who like get the best. Obviously,
Scorsese and De Niro,
or Leo. Scorsese and Leo's another one.
Yeah, and I feel like Fat in the hands of Wu is so fucking good, man. He's so likable, and at the same time, it's effortless. Like I never felt like he was trying to be badass. He was just his actions spoke for him.
And I mean this in the mind, you're like, wow, there's a lot. Sure, there's a lot of police brutality and just I mean this in the best. Shooting people who don't get in your way, huh? But you're just like, you just love him anyway. You're just like, yeah, get those guys.
I just mean this in the best way too. Like the way he's shot and like comes across, like he comes off so like attractive.
Oh sure, yeah. I mean,
you know, in this movie and like I assume the other movies.
Man, he's a star for sure. Like in fact, he's a movie star. When you watch this movie, he's like he's an action star. He's Bruce Willis. You know,
I wish he wouldn't have got Bulletproof Monk. Like why couldn't like it could have been him getting a Rush Hour like.
And well, it's funny because American audiences didn't know that Chow Yun-fat wasn't really a kung fu guy. Like, because the first thing a lot of American audience saw him in was Crouching Tiger, they assumed he was a kung fu guy, so they wanted to try to put him in kung fu things, and that's not really what he did. Replacement Killers is a much better American Chow Yun-fat movie.
I remember my mom, I've told you guys before, she would bring home bootlegs. I remember her bringing home.
Your mom, Joe's mom rocks.
I remember her bringing home. It was probably like late. Yeah, it had been like Matrix time. And my dad been like, "Sweet, I heard this movie's awesome. It was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It was a VHS bootleg too. It wasn't even a D, and it was like real shoddy cam work. And my dad just falling asleep, have no like. We were like, this is not the action movie they said it was going to be. Yeah, just because like it's.
I love Crouching Tiger, man. Like
but to
so incredible.
To us, probably like a 7 or 8 year old.
I can see like an 8-year-old trying to sit down and watch a shitty bootleg of Crouching Tiger. Maybe didn't resonate.
Can we talk about the flowers real quick? That has to be the most expensive. Roses. The most expensive system of decoding messages between somebody.
They spend like $40 every time they send them.
$40 to $60 just to send one. Like, hey, don't do that.
They had to have had a hookup. There's no.
I mean, that Flores must have been like, "What the fuck is happening with you?" Like,
or just like,
are you Ned from the Try Guys? Did you?
I'll tell you what I like about
topical.
I'll tell you, I don't know if it's necessarily just because this is a movie that's in a foreign language, or it's just the way that movies were made. And it is. It's more of the way movies were made in like the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. They don't hold your hand as much. Like, Hard Boiled just unfolds, and you have to pay attention, and you have to know what's going on. And it's like when you watch older movies like that, you realize that like they just used to respect the
Force you to
audiences
pay
a little
attention.
more. They didn't make everything for the dumbest, lowest common denominator. They were like,
Yeah, because now people, the way that people write, especially dialogue, is for
Just internet.
assuming that
It's
your audience is looking at the phone. So you have to be
yeah,
like, hey, hey.
but I
and
love the
it's
way
Want a jammy egg?
there's so much going on in Hard Boiled, but they like slowly like you see the roses and the messages, but you have no idea what that's about till like fully an hour or more into the movie till they reveal like that's the message system that Alan's using to communicate and he's undercover and what that all means and how that all works and like
Did they make him? Did they
they
make
trust
him?
the audience more.
Did they make him a frustrated musician just so he can sing the tune to decode the message? Lord, Lord, and he's like, yeah, because I know music. I'm a clarinet player, and I'll give you the la re mi. That's literally the only reason why they made him play a clarinet in the beginning of the.
Maybe. I mean, it's definitely like the type of like kind of like plot detail and like interweaving the
Yeah,
like different storylines and
to
like the
justify
skills
why he
of your
knows.
character with what they and having those because he's obviously got that relationship with that's like his ex or something who's
Yeah,
getting the messages and he's kind of helping her but she's not telling him what it's about. She's not letting him in on it even though he's and so that's making him I don't know, it's good character stuff as far as
yeah.
it's like just great kind of interpersonal character work. Crime movies like this, sometimes the like personal stuff can feel a little draggy when you're just like get to the action. So I think they did a good job of keeping it light and keeping you interested in the people and
Yeah, and there's
and like
like
I said, kind of keeping
interesting.
you guessing almost about what's exactly the nature of the relationships. And I don't know if
Yeah,
that's partially because it's again a movie made in another country and they have a different style and like you're dealing with
and they have like
subtitles and you're kind of like
interesting moments that are not particularly like action heavy, like the way that they film certain moments, specifically the one when he's looking for the book, the way that they intercut them walking through the library, that's pretty well made and it's entertaining. It could have been just like I found the book, but it wasn't that. Like it made it more compelling. But can I tell you what like one of my action things that always gives me a boner immediately when I see it?
Yes,
Um,
please.
dirt bikes, dirt bike action sequences. It's because I grew up with Jackie Chan. He loves a good dirt bike stunt work.
you know
But that motherfucker, when he slides that bike and stands up and continues to fucking rip through the crowd, I was like, fuck yes, that's
uh,
That was in David Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad, dude. Harley Quinn did that same thing.
I love a good dirt bike, and even to the point where I remember people complaining in the third Chris Pine's Star Trek movie that he
Yeah.
has like a scene. There's an action sequence on a planet where he uses a little dirt bike, and it's like I don't know, it looks pretty fucking cool to me.
yeah.
And it
I don't
makes
care.
sense
Oh,
because
people are like, oh, that's dumb. A space dirt bike, that's stupid. I was like, I don't know, but like, look at the cool shit he's doing. It's pretty rad.
it's fun.
the worst
Doing
part
BMX
about it is
over
they
there.
did the same thing in fucking Thor 3 with like the way the fucking portals just drop trash on the planet. And everyone was like, that's awesome. And this one there is like, that's just dumb. And I was like, that's just tight. And I think they did to fucking, what was the song they did it to?
It was Sabotage. It was
Yeah.
Everyone's
which was
like,
a callback to the first movie too. Like I like the Star Trek. I really like that Star Trek trilogy. It's fun.
Listen,
I like
Tom
the
Cruise
1
took
and
it
2.
in a Mission Impossible. I think Rogue Nation. They have fucking dirt bike. They have motorcycle
Yeah.
scenes like that. I mean, for me in this
I
genre,
love a good motorcycle scene.
in Hard Boiled, for me, it's the boat. It's the
I
boat.
definitely
shit.
relate. I definitely enjoy a motorcycle chase or a dirt bike chase more than a car chase. Like I get a little bored with car chases in movies sometimes. I'm kind of like, I don't get a ton out of that.
It's
depending.
far and few between.
Yeah.
It's the danger element that at any moment he could get fucked.
Oh,
John
right. A
Woo
motorcycle,
knows-
exactly.
Wrecked.
In a motorcycle, like you're already almost dead, basically. As far as
John-
I'm concerned, if you're in a chase in a motorcycle, because all somebody has to do is do this, and
John-
that's it for you. You're done. They smoked you.
John Woo knows how to work a boat.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
the boat sequence is awesome too.
Well, I was gonna say there's only you have to get those right because you can only use motorcycles in certain scenes one time and a boat in the scene one time.
Yeah, boat's hard, but like this and Face Off, I mean, like
I have a problem with Face Off because I actually think the boat chase is too much. I think it should end in the church, and I think that extra action beat is unnecessary. But that's more of a structural thing.
it's
The boat
gluttonous.
chase is still very awesome.
It's gluttonous in Face Off.
Yeah,
Face Off is so fucking good.
It's very
Like
cool.
I had
but
a
structurally, I always had an issue with it. It feels a little like it drags.
when I rewatched it, I think it was this year, and I had like a brain orgasm watching that fucking movie. That movie's so goddamn good.
That's great. I think we've talked about that as a topic on the show when like you haven't seen a movie in a long time and you rewatch it, you're just like get this flood. You're just like, oh, this is why people love movies so much, you know.
I could watch it
Let's
every day.
Switch gears just a little bit. There's something I want to talk about in Hard Boiled. I want to talk about a great, like, noble villainous henchman, and the dude with the page boy haircut in this movie.
Yeah.
With
The eye
middle-
patch?
I've never seen him and Anton Chigurh are the only people who ever made a middle part tough.
Terrifying.
This dude, but like I love this guy. He's like damn near the Terminator through the whole movie. He's just smoking people left and right. And then when it comes down to it at the very end, he's got like a code, and you don't cross it. And this dude is like, the guy he's working for ends up being too slimy, and he doesn't like it, you know. And I just love that kind of element of it. Like, I'm a bad guy,
Besides,
Well,
I'm
even I
not
have
the
limits.
worst guy, you know.
yeah. Same reason.
I'm a good guy if you squint hard enough. But also like Tony, we haven't talked about Tony. Like he's an attractive fellow, but he plays so well a cocky dude that he really balances off very well of fat. And what I love about Young Woo, he has like a very he's clearly an aesthetic director. Like he thinks certain things look cool, like the doves, the two guns, blah blah blah. But the one thing in this movie that he thinks looks fucking amazing, and it happens like every 5 minutes, is somebody with a cigarette just hanging right there.
Because of
Just-
movies like this, I was always, when I smoked, I was always doing that dangling the cigarette where it's like
I
stuck to your lip.
never could
I
leave a
actually-
cigarette.
I
at-
wonder
because
I
of a
actually
smoke.
had like ripped the skin on my lip a couple times because like it was so stuck because I had like perfected that like level of stickiness where it could hang and it would just never come off, you know.
I could never do that. I thought I could, because when I started smoking, I was like, ooh, just like in the movies, I'm just gonna leave it there and start doing other things because and the smoke in my eyes and in my, I was like, why the fuck do people do this? Like,
I mean,
this-
I'd
No, not me,
be
man. Between like movies like this and Sam Jackson and Jurassic Park, I was like, I'm gonna be the dude with the cigarette.
well,
hanging
guys.
out
I
of his
mastered
mouth.
it. I mastered
We-
it in my
we
role
recently
as the
watched-
your smarmy rival.
we
No,
recently
Tony
watched
Ramos wants a
Terminator.
big, expensive cigar.
No,
I do like
yeah,
cigars more.
We recently watched Terminator, and the police officer, the black
Oh.
detective,
Paul,
he
yeah.
has it, but like he has it like this, like it's like
Well, his
barely
is the like
there.
his is like the can't be bothered.
Yeah, he's
cigar,
like I
cigarette
even
more
forgot
than
I have a cigarette in my mouth.
yeah, like
That's kind of a bit of the
he's
Sam Jackson from Jurassic Park too. Like I'm just so casually always smoking that I just don't even know that I
don't even
just
realize.
like it's just part of me. The cigarette hanging out of my mouth is just part of me.
But yeah, can we talk about that? I think it's fitting that he got to the level of Face Off because when people see Face Off, they go like, "What the fuck? This movie's out of control." But if you watch Hard Boiled, that is considered like this, magnus opus of action, and you just drill down to the hospital sequence, like the end piece, it is fucking bananas. There's a moment where a SWAT guy is rappelling with a baby,
Yes.
and a dude is shooting at him, and it's just like, what the fuck is happening in this movie?
it's just
And
it's set piece
My
after
favorite
set
part
piece.
is like when the police officer just bowling ball all the citizens to the floor, and all the cops start shooting at people, and then like if you're not on the ground, I'm sorry, we started
Get
shooting.
down. We're just going.
I warned you. They get to the ground because I'm gonna start fucking massacring everybody.
Shoot 3 times, yell, get down, like I told you.
I swear
Talk
there's
to you.
scenes in this where like squibs just go off to go off.
Just random squibs over and over.
It's like
and
someone
over.
coughs and it's like,
Definitely like we're like we only had so many squibs that went off. Let's just use that shot. There was a lot of those, but it makes sense because it just fit all the aesthetic of the film. Like all those, some of those ones, you were just like, that looked like that shot should have went there, but that one popped, and you're just like, use it.
They're just spraying and like, okay.
And what I
if you tell me it hits in these spots, sure.
it's just blood. Like when I'll get back to that, but the thing that I really love about this movie, and I think the hospital sequence is like the encapsulation of it is like everything, like the explosions, the glass breaking, the stuntmen jumping, people getting on fire, blood squibs, the smoke from the guns, all of that just is so visceral and so real that you're like, I'm in it, I'm here. And then you watch like Gray Man or Bullet Train, and the CGI and the shitty sequences, you go like, oh, man, I know better. Like, you know, as an audience member, I know what action it really is, and like this is action. This is the true action director and a true action star and stuntman and fucking.
it's not just cool shit. It's not just like it's not just cool shit that someone was like, yeah, no, we sketched that one out. Like you were never able to do it, but we could do it now. So isn't it cool?
I think
and it's like no, no, it wasn't.
In these movies, like Hardboiled, like every character has like you can die with that one gunshot wound. Now the Chris Evans and the Ryan Goslings and the Gray Man are superheroes. They can jump from a fucking train going 90 miles an hour onto a moving car that's going 110, hit the windshield, break through it, and have no cuts or scratches, and just like, all right, yeah, we're alive. Like, there's nothing believable now. Like these older action movies, like the Tony Scott's, the John Woo's, and all the actors that we shot out before, like everything feels up until a certain point in time like the action means something to where now it's like action's just
TJ, I think that's a good point because like something like I think the one that started it where they're just all superheroes is the Fast and the Furious, right? Or like eventually that franchise did, and it was like when those were just the ones doing that, it was like, oh, this is like kind of fun and silly. And now that every movie is that where it's like you could jump from a building to a building, it's like
Well, and I think in a climate where you have so many superhero movies and so many characters can survive these over the top situations, it's important to have more grounded action movies. I think that's why the John Wicks are so. It's like you put two bullets in somebody, they're done forever. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, and I think.
And you would double tap.
Gravitate toward that too.
So, are we ready for a ratings phase?
I think it's time.
Let's go into the ratings phase.
Ratings phase.
Yo.
Yeah, I had a ton of fun with this. Really glad. One of my favorite parts about us, I mean, not just hanging out every other week, and this is watching things I wouldn't watch, and like especially when someone does pick a foreign film, it's, no one's ever picking a bad foreign film. That's a nice thing. No one's like, let me put you through watching the worst movie ever. So it's always really fun, and I enjoy that aspect of this, of what we do.
They want to box you in, but we expand our minds and watch foreign films.
Yeah, we are a classy broadcast.
As long as you're a foreigner who makes action movies.
Yeah.
Oh no, you can't come in with any sort of French dramas like Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
I've seen the Color Blue one.
It was a very good film.
Blue one was color.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We know why you saw it, TJ.
So having said that, getting all of this, this is a solid 7.8 squibs. Unnecessary squibs.
Oh, I'll go. This was my pick, and it was great to revisit. I always forget. I'll pick these movies, and I'm like, oh, yeah, let's watch this. And I forget that I'm the only one who has it on my shelf, and then everybody else has to scramble and watch a shitty copy on.
Hey, shout out to that YouTube channel.
This was a rare one where it's not even on streaming anywhere.
I appreciate my boys putting in the effort and getting this watched, and I thank them for, having to maybe go through some ulterior means. But, yeah, this one holds up pretty good. I got to give this, 8.5 probably. I still think maybe it's my favorite John Woo movie, even though I love the American John Woo movies. Yeah, I'd probably give this an 8.5. Little birds in cages during the middle of a shootout, getting exploded.
Squawking away.
Yeah.
When Fat just fucking destroyed that, I was like, "Whoa, is he killing the bird?" Just to get to the guns, he's like, "Fuck this bird! I want the guns."
Blast into it.
I'll give this quick math here. I'm gonna give it a 4.8. Double pistols, so you times it by 2.
Oh, 4.8 for each pistol.
Sorry,
3.6.
So 7. I'm sorry, 3.9. 7.8 is
7.8. Okay, that's fair.
7.8 double pistols.
3.6. 3.4.
It was great.
3.8. 3.8.
Yusuf?
Yeah. I fucking love. I love movies. This is a good movie, and I loved it.
You love them, but why?
Yeah, it's a great. I mean, I've already talked too much. 8.4 fat cover in flour and blood out of 10. Could you imagine just being like the police officer, their chief of police, and walking into that restaurant, and you just see a fucking massacre, and your lead detective is just like covered in flour and blood, and you're like, what the fuck is happening in the city?
The paperwork that has to be done.
Yeah, just fucking.
My favorite part of Hot Fuzz is like all the action paperwork scenes.
All right. It's my pick.
My turn.
So you have 2 lanes. So we will be going into October, which could be a spooky. They're both.
This will be our pre-Halloween episode.
This will be pre-Halloween episode, and for the last year or so, I've been trying to stay away from picking horror movies due to fear. But I have one horror movie in one hand, and a movie that is just not a horror movie in the other.
You're grabbing some boobies there.
I'm grabbing some boobies. What boob do you want, left or right?
Well, most ladies, the right is the good boob. It's the strong boob.
So you want right boob. Okay. So we are going to go with Night of the Demons.
Oh, I've never seen that. I want to see it.
I just watched this for the first time, like in the last year.
I've actually never seen it either, and I got the Shout Factory Blu-ray, and it's one of those covers that I've always looked.
Yeah, it's
prime.
got like it's like a chick all demoned out.
Yeah, and it was just referred to us, and it could make a little teaser our fear Halloween bracket, because I do think it's a Halloween movie. So everyone knows the other movie that you were in for was Mean Girls.
Oh, wow. I was just talking to my wife.
I love Mean Girls.
It's weird that I've never seen Mean Girls because I'm like such a
all right, wait.
Tina
Fey. We got to do Mean Girls then.
This one?
Yeah, that one that looks pretty sweet. All right, well, I'm gonna remember you've never seen Mean Girls though.
I'm like, it's weird because I'm a big Tina Fey, Amy Poehler like fanboy, and I like a lot of their work very, very. But I've just never got around. It came out in that time when I was like in my mid-20s and I wasn't watching teen movies anymore.
Yeah, I was 13 and in love with Lindsay Lohan.
Yo, that tagline is wild. Angela is having a party. Jason and Freddy are too scared to come, but you'll have a hell of a time.
All right, so we're gonna watch Night of the Demons.
I love when horror movies like shitty horror movies try to call out big budget, like the top of the line
guys. Where can the people find you, yo?
You can find me right here at Flyover State of Fear. We got a fun October slate coming up for you, and you can watch our previous episodes with Alan from Werewolf Ambulance, and coming up Paul Shirley doing The Fly 2, which was actually a really fun movie that I was surprised was good.
I had to say I enjoyed your Fog episode because I don't like... Now, it was tough for me because Alan, your guest, was a big fan of the original Fog, and shat on the new one, which I was fine with, but I don't even like the old one. So I was it was like, I like the shitting on 2005 Fog, but I'm too positive about the old Fog.
I watched the old Fog. I watched the old Fog right after that the next morning, and I enjoyed it very much.
You liked it? See, I was not a big fan. Not one of my favorite Carpenters.
Well, where can we find you, Brian?
Oh, you can find me at Hercules on Twitter, giving red hot takes like The Fog isn't my favorite John Carpenter movie.
Whoa.
Oh,
Spicy.
TJ.
you guys are on Flyover State Film YouTube right now. You guys can find me on Twitter at TJDex, where I'm always just talking the shit. And yeah.
Bye.
Very good. Bye.